Hello, friends. Last Sunday, I watched Kathleen's video about using chalk to highlight stamped images, and I thought that sounded like a fun Sunday afternoon activity. She had used coffee-dyed index cards, and I didn't have any that I found. I probably have some somewhere, but I didn't know where they were. So I decided I would quickly dye some index cards, which I did. I mixed up some coffee, instant coffee in about, I don't know, a cup of water, maybe a little more. And I used this big brush and just brushed it on the cards and left them to dry. I had them stacked up over there. And of course, it took longer for them to dry than I thought it would, and so I just veered off and did this instead. And I had did a post about these that I had done. This is on watercolor paper, and this is an index card. Anyway, I had this leftover coffee dye, and I hated to just throw it away, so I could put the lid on it. It was in a cottage cheese container. Not that you need to know that, but anyway, it was. And I put it in the refrigerator. And then several days later, I remembered it, and I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and dye some pages, some papers. This is what I did. I stacked them up. I poured the coffee into a 9 by 13 pan, and then I just dipped each paper into the pan of coffee, turned it over, and then placed it on this cookie sheet and just stacked them up and left them to dry. It took about 3 or 4 days. And I've peeked a little bit here at the top, but I haven't really gone through all of these, and I thought it'd be fun if I did that with you. So this first one kind of surprised me. When it was wet at first, it was just coffee colored all over. And then I came back the next morning, and it had this wild pattern on it, and I remembered I had this lace underneath it. And apparently the lace pulled the coffee up, and it dyed this paper to look like this. The one it was laying on is not that way at all. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So anyway, we'll just go through this. This has this big mess here. And I think it was because I had this lace here. And again, it pulled the dye up onto this page. So I have a page that's going to have a very dark border on it. This was kind of experimental, actually, because I hadn't coffee dyed any paper recently. So I put this pink doily in between here, and I don't think it made any difference on the page, except it looks like there's a shadow of a shape there that it might have made. This lace is now stiffer and darker than it was originally. It was originally more of a well, you can't really tell on the camera, but it was more ivory colored, and now it's a little bit more tan. And on this page, there you can kind of see that there is the coffee was pulled up into that, but I don't see any of the design of the lace, which was really what I was hoping for, was to see the lace design on these. But it didn't work out that way. And again, I did it on this page, and it had a somewhat effect on this, mainly in the shape of it, more so than anything else. And here's this lace, which is also a little bit darker than it was originally. And I'm fine with that. I kind of like that dark edge there where it congregated I guess that's the right word, the coffee on that edge. And now these are kind of stuck together. Again, I put lace on this edge, and there's very little, I mean, there's kind of a design if you, imagine it. It's not much to that. That was the same lace. I like the lace colors. I think they look good. And the paper's fine too. I mean, it's wrinkled, but they always are when I've coffee dyed. It doesn't seem to flatten out. Maybe it will when I think I'll stack them up dry and just put something heavy on top of them and see if that flattens it out a little bit. Now this one had this doily under it, and the effect is just this shape. I don't see anything of it drawing the coffee dye around where the design was. These came out a little wrinkled on that, but these were brighter pink. I think I put those away. Let me just grab it. These are heart-shaped doilies I got at Dollar Tree last year, and I think I got another package this year too. But see, it's much lighter after it's coffee dyed, and it looks a little, it's not white, it still has that pink tint to it, but it has a little bit of a brown tint too, and it's more aged. So I think that made it interesting. And we'll just hurry on through these because this is not much to see here. Just plain. It kind of sticks together too sometimes. The edges, it kind of drew the coffee to the edge there. Here's another piece of lace on this one. Now on this one, I'm seeing just a little bit of the lace pattern there, but it is very faint. I think that lace that has a more substantial structure probably makes a better stencil, if you will, to dye with. This one is a little bit sturdier lace, and I don't know that I'm not seeing the design on that one either. It's just mainly, it just drew the coffee on that edge. Here's another piece of that lace, and that's the last one. You can see just a little bit of the scallop shape there, but not much else. So I would say my coffee dyeing experience was maybe a C plus or B plus. I don't know, B minus. But anyway, I had fun doing it, and it didn't take very long, I'll say that. And maybe I will learn some things about trying to get some images on here. I've used stencils before between the papers, and that works pretty well to get the stencil design on there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing my experiment in dyeing, and maybe it inspired you to try out coffee dyeing a little bit if you haven't done that. It's not really anything too technical. I think I made my coffee solution maybe a little bit stronger than I should have, but I don't know. I don't mind this darker color, and it just gives it some dimension and texture with those where I put the lace on it. It's just not the design showing up like I had hoped it would. But anyway, this one I think is the most interesting of all of them because this was the lace I used on that, and this was a yardage of lace, and I cut this piece off some time ago for something else. But it's got an edge on those roses that is a little bit raised, and I don't really, the lace itself didn't change much in color. It's hard to tell. Let me put something white under there. You can tell a little bit there that this edge was sticking out. I was trying to avoid putting it over this part because I was expecting the lace, one of these laces that I had put down there, to pull a design up there, and I was going to have that. That didn't work out. So anyway, I'm not sure. Maybe there's some people that can control it better than I did, but for me, it's usually an experiment, and it's a surprise when I take everything apart. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and let me know in the comments about your experiences, maybe your most surprising coffee dyeing experience or result that you got. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.